everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander's Core Studio. Welcome to the show. So on today's episode, I've got a fun one for you. I'm going to be talking about commanders that win with cards nobody else plays. And of course, there's a handy-dandy link to all those cards and all the commanders in the description below. With all that said, let's jump into them. First up, one of my favorites of all time, Feldegriff. A 4/4, you gotta trust me here. Feldegriff for 4 mana in Bant. By paying a white mana, flying, target opponent gains 2 life. By paying a blue, you bounce it back to your hand, target opponent may draw a card, keyword may. By paying a green, trample tub turn, you get a hippo token into play under an opponent's control. It's a 1/1. Yeah, this looks like a commander that no one would ever play, but it is an insanely amazing, awesome commander that utilizes some really weird, janky cards that are incredible with it. Here's the thing. Yeah, generating infinite blue mana does not win you the game because, again, blue, hey, return to your hand, target opponent may draw a card, may, keyword there. The one that you can force, though, is the green, where it's like, okay, yeah, you get all these hippos, make some deals, give opponents hippos, but then, of course, all of a sudden, you're just like, oh, you know what, actually, I'm going to utilize some, like, ghostly prison type effects. I'm going to make it so that the hippos can't attack me. Or maybe I make deals that say, like, hey, if I give you these hippos, okay, they're for free. You can use them as blockers against opponents, too. But, you can't attack me with them. And then utilize things like Angel's Trumpet. There you go. Later in the game. Artifact 4/3. Basically, all creatures have vigilance. At the end of each player's turn, tap all untapped creatures they control that did not attack this turn. 1 damage that player for each creature tapped this way. Basically, punish opponents for having a ton of creatures that did not attack. So, force those attacks out on each other, on your opponents attacking each other. And of course, if you give it to them, with some unhasty hippos, which is going to happen, they'll get pinged anyways. Or just steal the hippos back. Reigns of Power, an amazing card. I love this one. Untap all creatures you control, creatures opponent controls. You and that player each switch creatures, basically. They gain haste till end of turn. Yeah, so take your opponent's creatures, which includes all the hippos you gave them, and swing out with your giant hippo army and win. A lot of weird, janky cards work so well with Feldegriff. Make sure you check out my episode on this one. Such a cool commander that utilizes some really weird wins with this. Next up, the absolute greatest of all time, the GOAT. There you go, get it. Zedru, the Great-Hearted, a 2/4 Minotaur Monk for 4 mana in Jeskai. Beginning of your upkeep, you gain X life, draw X cards, X the number of permanents you own that your opponents control. By the way, by paying Jeskai colors, target opponent against flip target permanent you control. Yeah, basically, hey, you know what? You get to have my permanents. You're welcome. Oh, and I get benefits from that, basically. Those permanents, though, can be really weird and really janky and absolutely amazing. 9 lives is not a card you ever see played, but it is so good with Zedru. Champ for 3 mana in white. Hexproof is a source to deal damage to you. Prevent that damage from an incarnation counter on this. There are 9 or more incarnation counters on it. Exile it. When it leaves the battlefield, you lose the game. Basically, you say, hey, opponent, here you go. You get this 9 lives. Maybe I already got some counters on it, Maybe I've got a way to just wipe the board and take out all enchantments, essentially, but yeah, I've got a way to take that opponent out when I give them this, or just some other lovely cards like Steel Golem. Hey, a 3/4 for 3 mana. Wow! Back in the day, it's like, you know what? That has to have a giant disadvantage, right? In 1997, right? Here we go. So, you cannot play summon artifact creature spells. Basically, you can't cast creatures, so there you go. You aren't allowed to actually play any creatures. So you give this to an opponent that, well, has a creature-based strategy, and they cannot do anything. Yeah, cards that basically see no play at all, some very strange, weird cards that have massive downsides. You are the one who is bad gifting those to your opponents, and then getting all the benefits from that. The Beamtown Bully, such a cool commander, such a unique commander, and such a cool commander that, well, utilizes, again, some really weird cards. 4/4 Vigilant, Haste, Ogre Devil Warrior, because that's the thing, for 4 mana in Jund. Tap, target opponent whose turn it is, put target's non-legendary creature card from your graveyard on the battlefield under their control, gets haste, goad it, begin the next end step, exile it. Yeah, basically, hey, I got this gift for you, you're welcome, but, oh, it's a leveler. A 10/10 for 5 mana, enters the battlefield to get rid of your library, exile it all. Yeah, so basically you're like, hey, here you go. Here's this amazing creature, 10/10, I got it for you. Oh, I'm so sorry. You lost your library. Okay, good luck next turn when you draw and lose. Or Hellcarver Demon, a 6/6 demon with flying for 6 mana in black. When it deals combat to players, sacrifice all their permanents you control, discard your hand, exile the top 6. You can play them for free. Congratulations. Yeah, this is just a way for an opponent to literally lose the game. You give them this, they have to attack with it, it's gonna go through, it's gonna hit, and all of a sudden, they lose all their permanents. Sure, they get to, well, cast things for free off the top of their library, but, yeah, they're going to have absolutely nothing. Again, nothing in their hand, nothing in play, and yeah, they are going to just be out of everything. Yeah, the Beamtown Bullies, again, utilizes some really weird unused cards because they are absolutely terrible in most circumstances, but amazing with this commander because you're gifting them to an opponent who is, well, yeah, unfortunately going to have to utilize that gift in a terrible way. Moving on, Miracle Lord of Bones. Such a cool commander, such a unique commander, and such a weird commander. A 7/5 god for 7 mana in Abzan. As long as your life total is less than or equal to half your starting life total, it's got indestructible, so that's nice. More importantly, though, whenever another non-token creature control dies, you may exile it if you do create a token's copy of that card, except an enchantment loses all their card types. So basically, turn your creatures into enchantments, and that means you can do some really, really, really weird things with them. Everyone knows about, maybe the Devoted Druid. You get infinite green mana. Congratulations. But how about Barrington Medic? Yeah, a 0/4 Kithkin Cleric for 5 mana that has tap, prevent the next 1 damage to be dealt to our creature player this turn. By the way, put a -1 counter on this, untap it. Yeah, you've never heard of this card? Yeah, because it doesn't see any play at all outside of this commander because it's such a weird card that no one's like, yeah, you know what I really need to do? Prevent maybe up to 3 or 4 damage in a turn? Sure, cool, all right. No, but with this commander, again, you basically can just put all the -1 counters on it, take it out, and all of a sudden it comes back as an enchantment, and now, whenever you're putting those -1 counters on it, it doesn't matter. It's an enchantment. It just stays there and has, again, a trillion -1 counters on it. It doesn't matter. You can prevent all the damage to all the creatures and all the players that you ever want to for the rest of the game until this gets dealt with, if it ever gets dealt with. Cinera's Wretch, another card that sees no play at all, but is amazing with this commander. 3/2 Elemental Shaman for 5 mana in black. Tap, target player discards a card. Only play it during your turn. By the way, again, same thing. -1 counter on it, untap it. So again, you turn this into an enchantment by taking it out, having itself take itself out, and all of a sudden your opponents have no hands at all. And again, literally, sure, on their turn they can hold on to cards, but once it hits your turn, all their cards are gone again. So yeah, again, a commander that turns creatures into enchantments, which makes them infinitesimally better in certain ways, and allows you to just dominate with some really weird and underused cards. Eudora Grave Gardener is such a spicy commander, such an amazing commander, and one that, well, lets you do some, again, really weird things with really weird cards. A 5/5 Truefolk Druid for 5 mana in green. Whenever another non-token creature control dies, you may return to the battlefield face down. Under its control, it's a forest land. Yeah, you can do some really strange things with this because, well, sure, I mean, like, yeah, it doesn't affect tokens, but affects non-tokens, and if you turn your lands into creatures, there's some really weird things that happen with that. Life and Limb. All forests and all saplings are 1/1 saplings, and all forest lands that are other types. Basically, saplings are forests, forests are saplings. All your forests are now creatures, meaning that they are non-token creatures, meaning that when they die, they come back as a forest, which is also a creature. Yeah, it's kind of weird. So essentially, if you've got a sacrifice out, you can keep bringing them back again and again and again. Untapped. Yeah. Nature's Revolt. All lands are 2/2s that are still lands. First of all, this is quite hilarious that your opponent's creatures are also forests. I mean, lands, I should say. There are 2/2s, not forests. So yeah, if Blast Effect happened to happen, maybe all the creatures are gone, all the lands are gone. Oh no. Yours would still come back because you're a commander. That being said, being able to, again, utilize some really weird effects by going like, oh yeah, okay, cool, sacrifice my my land. Oh, it comes back as a forest. Cool, it was already a forest. Now and again and again and again. Again, you can do some really weird, really strange things with this one. There's also a lot of other miscellaneous combos with morph creatures with this too. Check it out on Commander Spellbook. But yeah, a very strange, very weird commander that utilizes cards that, again, no one else plays at all. Obeka, Brute Chronologist, breaks time, and with that, well, breaks the mold when it comes to the cards that it uses. A 3/4 Ogre Wizard for 4 mana. And, well, Grixis. Tap, target, well, the player's turn is man the turn. I guess you don't really target them. Anyways, here's what happens with this one, essentially. Again, you exile spells and abilities from this deck. The player's turn is discards down to maximum hand size. Damage wears off, and this turn, until on different effects, and basically, everything stops. We're like, you know what? I don't want this to happen anymore. Again, it's a may end the turn, so your opponents don't just get locked out of the game, basically. But with you can utilize some really weird things, like, oh, I'm playing Final Fortune. Okay, I take an extra turn for this one. At the beginning of that turn's end step, you lose the game. Okay, oh no, oh, that's gonna happen, oh no, it's gonna, oh wait, no, actually that's on the stack, and now it's gone. I just basically got an extra turn for 2 mana, and Obeka said, you know that whole, like, you know, you lose the game thing? That didn't happen. So also you can utilize Last Chance. Exact same thing. Take an extra of this. When beginning of that turn's end step, you lose the game. You can utilize really weird cards again that have massive upside but massive downsides with this. And essentially your commander says, you know that downside that was about to happen? That downside is gone. So yeah, because I can kind of break the rules of the space-time continuum or whatever Rebecca does, I can break the mold and utilize those really weird cards in some really amazing ways. Marisol the Pretender is not pretending to be anything that it isn't. It is an amazingly weird commander, a 4/4 human wizard for 4 mana in Grixis. Enters the battlefield to exile an artifact or creature card from your hand or graveyard, put a cage counter on it. Has all activabilities of all cards you own and exile with cage counters on them. Activate each of those abilities only once each turn. Such a weird, amazing commander, and utilizes cards like Aetherling, which I love. But of course, there's also some other cards that are even weirder that you can utilize in some really, really cool ways. First of all, Tree of Perdition. So much fun. 0/13 plant with Defender for 4 mana and black. Tap. Exchange target opponent's life total with this creature's toughness. Yeah, again, 13 is already like taking your opponent down a lot, right? Going from 40 to 13. But how about you take them down to, I don't know, 4, your commander's toughness, and all of a sudden you go from 40 to 4, and you're like, yeah, you're gone. You lose the game, basically, essentially, is what you're doing. You can do some really cool things. Of course, if you have Aetherling, actually, you can take them down to 1 as well. But yeah, giving your commander some really weird effects. Asmodeus the Archfiend is such a fun one as well. One that is a really high upside card, but has a massive downside as well. 6/6 Devil God for 6 mana in black. You would draw a card, exile a top card of your library face out instead, pay black, draw 7 cards. By the way, paying a black, get all those cards, exile with it, back to your hand, you lose that much life. Yeah, you kind of get around that part because that whole binding contract part actually doesn't apply when it's just your commander that has this effect because, well, it's just the abilities you get. So you basically have to pay black, draw 7 cards again and again and again and again and again. Yeah, Marisol the Pretender basically can just be this really weird, again, just entity that has all these different abilities that are just mashed into one. Such a weird and amazing commander with some really weird and amazing cards that work so well with it. Tetsuko Umezawa Fugitive is a 1/3 human rogue for 2 mana in blue. Creature control with power or toughness 1 or less, can't be blocked. Yeah, that is absolutely amazing. Basically, your entire team is unblockable. And again, this is an uncommon commander for just 13 cents that everyone just like, yeah, it's uncommon. It can't be that good, right? Oh, here's the thing. You can do some really crazy things with it with some really weird cards that no one plays. Cephalid Constable, such a brutally amazing card that doesn't look like a lot at first, but it really is. A 1/1 Cephalid Wizard for 3 mana in blue, deals combat damage to a player, return up to that many target permanents the player controls back to their hand. Basically saying like, hey, you know what? Yeah, usually it'd just be 1, but we're going to change that up because, again, if my power or toughness is 1 or less, I can't be blocked, meaning that I can still, well, update my power. Something like a Rune Changer's Pike, an equipment for 2 mana, go creature as first strike, gets +X with 0x the number instant source cards in your graveyard. That can get quite hefty throughout the game, especially in a blue deck. And all of a sudden, your Cephalid Constable has like 7, 8, 9 power. You hit an opponent because, well, the Cephalid Constable's unblockable thanks to your commander, and all of a sudden, all their permanents are gone. Yeah, you can utilize some really weird, really strange 1 power, 1 toughness creatures with this commander and utilize some really, really cool effects to victory. John Arenicus Shattered One is such a spicy commander and one that can utilize some really weird cards and some really weird strategies. A 3/3 elf wizard for 4 mana in Dimir. Beginning of your end step, target opponent gains swap to 1 target creature you control, get 2 counters on it, tap it, it's goaded for the rest of the game, gains. This creature can't be sacrificed. Whenever a creature you own but don't control attacks, you may draw a card. Somewhat like a Beantown Bullies in a way, but you can do some really weird things with this because this one applies a very specific and weird phrase. This creature can't be sacrificed, which is, you know, to basically say like, hey, opponent, you get this creature, I'm forcing you to have it. You can't just get rid of it. I gave you a gift. So something like, yeah, Archery of the Dross can be a good way to take them out. A 6/6 for Rexian Demon with flying for 4 mana in black. Enters the battlefield with 4 oral counters on it. Upkeep, remove all counter from it. If it has no oil counters on it, you lose the game. Creature opponent controls dies, controller loses 2 life. Basically, you can get a lot of really cool, like, hey, I got a 6/6 that has a massive upside on it for a couple turns, and then I give it to an opponent, and then they remove an oil count from it, and then they have none on it, and they lose the game. Goodbye. Ha ha ha. Or you can go in a different direction, which isn't exactly a win, but yeah, you can just tie the game. Yeah, you can just do that if you really want to. Manta Ray, 3/3 fish, I guess, for 3 mana in blue. It's got Island Home, which is not a thing anymore. If defending player controls no islands, this creature cannot attack. If you control islands, you bury this creature. You sacrifice it. Can't be blocked up by blue creatures. Here's the thing about this one again. You have an island, but your opponents might not have an island. And if one of your opponents doesn't have an island, guess what? You give it to them with John Irenicus. John Irenicus makes it so the creature can't be sacrificed. Oh, but it's got island home, so if that player has no islands, it has to be sacrificed. But it can't be sacrificed, but it has to be. Can't be, it has to be. It goes into an infinite loop that just locks the game out and says, oh, if anyone's got no way to stop this, all of a sudden, I can't stop it either. And all of a sudden, the game is just over. I ended the game in a draw. Yeah, you can build your entire deck around that. No one wins. Yay. Okay, yeah, you gotta use this kind of a strategy with the right play group. Don't just use it at your LGS. It's going to upset some people. So yeah, make sure you ask your play group first, or you might know your play group well if you're like, I can throw a joke in there essentially and, throw those island home type creatures, or just utilize again those Archfiend the Draws creatures. Either way, it's a weird commander that wins in weird ways. And finally, Orvar the All-Form. Such a cool commander, such a unique commander, and such a brutally effective one. 3/3 Shapeshifter with Changeling for 4 mana in blue, and if that was it, it would be Mistform Ultimates, but that's not all! Whenever you cast an insert or spell, if it targets one or more other permanents you control, create a token's copy of one of those permanents. By the way, if a spell or ability opponent controls cause you to discard this card, you get a token of it, or a token to target permanent, I should say. That part doesn't matter. We're playing Commander. It's not going to be in our hand. What does matter is literally targeting things means that we copy them, which is insane. Absolutely insane. So we can utilize really weird cards. How about a card like Mind Games, an instant for a single blue mana? It's got buyback for 3 mana. It says tap target artifact, creature, or land. Yeah, you're just like, you know what? I just care that it targets whatever I want. It can target any of those things. So I just pay 1 mana, I can target it. I can pay 3 more mana to get this back and just keep doing it again and again and again. And get cards like Cloud Post, which see no play in Commander because, again, Commander is a singleton format. Comes into play, tapped, tap for a single mana, for each Locust in play. Cool, and this is a Locust. Yeah, you just keep making more and more and more of these. All of a sudden, your lands tap for an insane amount because you can just keep copying your lands again and again and again and again and again. Orvar lets you do some really weird and amazing things. It is definitely an Omega level commander that wins in some really weird and interesting ways. And with that, this episode is coming to a close. Comment below with your thoughts on it. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.